Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the DDMM YouTube channel for live coverage of round 10 of the 2021 Legends of Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. And another return. We've had quite a few returns on the channel over the last few weeks, but the return of the Mazda MX-5s for the first time in quite a while. It's only the third appearance of them for the season. And first one earlier in the year. Very glad to have them back. We are at Zandvoort, minus big banking, but Dutch nonetheless. Our first visit to the beaches of the Netherlands, and should be a very intriguing circuit for our drivers tonight. A lot of them is their first time here, and we're due for 3 races in the Masters this evening. The field of about 20 drivers, reverse grids of 10 as we get later into the evening. I am, of course, joined by Howard Mitchell, the other half of DDMM. Good evening, Howard. How are we doing?
Good evening, Andrew. Good evening, everybody. Yes, our Hugenholzbocht may not be cambered, but it's still going to be good fun. And yes, it's great. It's to be back with people. And as you say, back with the MX-5s, which we haven't seen since Laguna Seca in round 3. So it's been a long old time since we last had these out. And they always, of course, the original article in our Legends of Club 100 BUKC iRacing Championship for the inaugural season, the only car we used. So it's good to be back with an old classic for this championship. We always have good fun with them, and yeah, I think Zandvoort's a cool place to go with it.
Absolutely. So as you say, the format usual for the Masters 3 races tonight. Qualifying will be beginning at 20:45 British Summer Time by our clocks here in DDMM HQ. So we've got a few moments, Howard, just to catch up and see what the table's looking like after 9 rounds of the championship. We very much are into the final throes of this series. 4 rounds to go. Let's have a look at the points for the championship standings. Howard, take us through the scores on the doors.
Yeah, absolutely. We've finally been able to get a bit more. We should be able to give you a bit more detail around the championship points. So here are the scores overall within the championship. Steve Hicks at the head of the field. Here we are, of course, indebted to him for the work that he puts into bringing this championship together outright. But he has been racing very, very well as well. He's topping the points there. Ben Bennyworth as well doing well. Michael Preston with some real momentum in this season. Chris Hansen having a fantastic season within Class 2, and Matt Hale as well. So that's your top 5 at the moment. But I'm gonna sort of go through this quite quickly, because what I want to show as well is what happens when we start to take drop scores into account, which we haven't shown at any point up until now.
You've been playing with the scores, haven't you?
I have. Guilty as charged. So that's how your overall points look. In fact, let's put you back onto the top screen of that. So that's how it looks overall. But if I flash up drop scores taken into account, we can see just how close this one is at the top, and the picture changes quite significantly. So it's Josh Ladd who leads the championship. So much momentum. Remember when it was it 5 rounds in a row that he took through the midpoint of this season? I actually lost count. I think it was 4, maybe 4 rounds in a row. But that puts him top of everybody on 498, and then it's just 6 points behind to Michael J. Preston. Steve Hicks still there, strong in the championship, tied for 2nd place there. Then it's Chris Hansen still up there in the top 5, underlying how strong a season he's had. Tom Edwards in there, rounding out your top 5. But this is where, we've spoken about certain drivers who had to dip in and out of this championship. Anwar Barul Smith being, I think, a standout one who would definitely be featuring towards the top part of this table. If he was able to support the whole season, which unfortunately he wasn't. Rob Newman, another driver who sort of turned up and was very strong, but we haven't seen much from him since the first few rounds. So this really changes the pitch, and you can see just how close these scores are as we cycle on down the table. You got some really tight battles going on in Class 2 as well. Literally everybody has somebody to fight with, as is the Club 100 way. But yeah, that's just the one thing I want to really get across, is just how close this is, and people looking to have a strong one tonight. And then I have another set of scores to put in front of you all, which is our standings in the rear-wheel drive championship, and this is where a lot of things change as well. So we've got tonight's round and one more, and that is the bottom of the table. Let's go back up to the top. Apologies. So we mentioned Anwar Brulsmith. Because the 2 rounds in this sub-championship, this rear-wheel drive championship with the Mazda MX-5s, because that was rounds 1 and 3 of the series overall, drivers who were present near the start feature quite highly in this table. So Anwar there, his early successes in this season prove out there by way of the fact that he's still leading this championship. Now, there are no drop scores within this sub-championship, as I understand it. So he won't be. We will have a new championship leader by the end of tonight, but who is it going to be? Because it's nice and close there between Steve Hicks, between Michael Preston, Jack Jensen, and Tom Banks not too far behind either. So some really interesting stuff there. Matt Horgan, your leader within Class 2. Kirith Kalirai up high in this as well, as is Andrew Dawson. That's your top 3 within Class 2. So quite a different picture, Andrew, in the rear-wheel drive subcategory.
Very good. Well, that's all the scores on the doors, as we say, updated. A few thanks at the top of the stream. We've had a few new subscribers join us here on the DDMM YouTube channel, so big shout-outs to Sam Cunliffe, the Beast from the East, not the Storm, I hope. Jake O'Sullivan, R.A. Chris, and Cars La 9 have all joined the channel in the last few days as subscribers. Thank you as well if you are also watching and you're a new subscriber and Google hasn't told me who you are. That's not me leaving you out, that's just the way the data protection works and all that business. Lots of activity in the chat, and thank you very much, guys, for tuning in tonight. Let's go through them. Hello to Al, back in the chat once again. Looking forward to this one. Nathan Maxman is here for Mr. Kalirai. Lots of people, I think, are here for Mr. Kalirai this evening. Kirith himself being in the chat has technical issues. Technical issues before the race. He's maybe having to do a pit lane start. We'll wait and see. Steve Baker wishes everyone a good evening. Hello to Gav in the chat, back once again. Was supporting us over on Kirith's channel on Sunday for the VRS attempt around Montreal between myself, Kirith, and David Whitehouse. And yeah, keep and talking to Mr. Whitehouse, he is there as well. DW Media, keep your comments coming in. If you don't mind sharing the stream out on your various bits of social media this evening, that would be absolutely fantastic. Let people know that we're racing here this evening at Circuit Park Zandvoort in the Netherlands, just west of Amsterdam, if I've got my geography correct. And yeah, it should be a very, very good evening of racing. Another midweek episode of Sim Racing, just whilst we're going over and waiting for practice qualifying to start. Next week, it's a Gran Turismo Sport Week, so we'll have the second meeting of this current season, Season 5 of the Club 100 Gran Turismo Sport Championship. So that will be on Tuesday night. Tuesdays for a GT Sport, Wednesday for an iRacing on alternate weeks pretty much. So they'll be racing from 9 o'clock on Tuesday. Click the notification bell to be reminded. The subscribe button, of course, as well. The stream link is actually already live. It's the one with the nice thumbnail from Brands Hatch, which was a very, very good round that we had last week. Do go watch that back if you don't mind after we finished here at Zandvoort. And I should say as well, Howard, this is the first of 2 times that we'll be in comms box duties together this week, because we're down at Bayford Meadows on Sunday.
We are absolutely that. Yes, Bayford Meadows this weekend. We're both racing and commentating, not at the same time. That doesn't go well. But yeah, no, streaming all the action from the Sprint Series this weekend, which has been providing some absolutely brilliant stuff in terms of racing action so far this year. So make sure that you are setting that aside on your calendar. Making some time to join us for that, because it's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Only
small point I will... Oh, go on, mate.
Go ahead. No, you finish off.
Oh, it's fairly irrelevant. I just wanted to confirm your geography. It must be west of Amsterdam, because if you go much further west, you are in the sea.
I am in the sea, aren't I? I'm heading back towards Blighty. Few new entrants, we're very glad to say. And
Yes.
we should say this to anyone who is, has Club 100 and BUKC experience. Maybe they've just picked up iRacing. Maybe they've just started. You can still join. In fact, you can join the rest of the season for free. Get in contact on the Facebook group or the Discord. Both of the links are down below. But we've got 3 new entrants tonight. Very glad to welcome to the championship fold Sam Sanders, who we've watched a lot of this year in the BUKC and races in senior owner classes as well at Wilton Mill Kart Club. He will be in Class 1. I'm hoping he's got some form of Mika Hakkinen referenced livery on his car, but we'll wait and see on that. Also joining Sam in Class 1 this evening is James Montgomery, who we've been reminded, haven't we, Howard, that I got very excited about how do I put this without us getting, well, I was about to say demonetised, but we don't get monetised anyway. He likes touching the sausage. And the last time we saw him touching sausage was at Clay Pigeon, I believe, in 2018 Drivers' Championship. We've been reminded to mention that. But I got very excited about that the last time I saw James on a stream. You
did. I watched the clip back again earlier. I think you're being kind to say you get excited about how to say it in a clean way, mate. You just get excited and say it anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, James is with us tonight. He's also in Class 1. Class 1s, remember, are all of our experienced drivers. This is very much done on iRating. And as I say, there's another driver joining us tonight, Alex Cobb in Class 2. That is the group of drivers with a lower iRating, less experience, and denoted by blue number boards on the timing tower. The checkered flag is out for a very long practice session. We had a slightly longer practice session tonight because there has been a big update dropped for the start of Season 4 earlier on today, so we wanted to give everyone a bit of time to get that working. Michael Preston, for what it's worth, though, was fastest in that practice session. And I would tell you who's second, third, fourth, and everybody else, but the timing screen is just reset in front of me. But that does mean, Howard, we are ready for qualifying. And the normal scenario here, 2 flying laps for everybody. And remember, any off-track excursions, they are running out there on their own. But you don't want to be falling off the road and any of that business, because you will lose your lap times and you will maybe have to start from the back of the grid.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it can be a long road battle. Whilst we do have some inversion of the grids going on tonight, it can nevertheless be quite a long road back up towards the front if you do have a problem in qualifying. So it is going to be an interesting one. And as you say, how many of our drivers have driven Zandvoort before? I've got to say, mate, I did think, obviously it's on everybody's mind with the return of the Dutch Grand Prix that took place this weekend just gone. I have to say, I thought it was a brilliant Grand Prix.
It
really,
was an intriguing one. It
was good. It was a proper chess match, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was indeed. Have we got any cars out on? Has anyone actually gone out on circuit yet? I know we're 1 minute 23 into the session. So a couple of the drivers will be coming round.
Here's one. Here's one of our debutants. Yeah.
Nice livery this from James. Bright pink and a bit of purple in there as well. We'll definitely be able to spot James as he tours around the circuit. Going through one of my favourite areas of this circuit, Howard, the middle sector. Good mix of corners. Heading over this little brow, and I think this could be a tricky braking zone with some of our drivers tonight, because you go over the brow of this hill, deep on the brakes, downhill, almost like an Ashby corner in a way, around Wilton Mill, but then you've got to tuck it in. Use a good amount of that curb on the inside. This is where Mr. Alonso came across the orange fog at the end of the Grand Prix on Sunday.
Is, yes.
Through the final corner.
Him and everybody else, yeah.
Not banked this evening, but I would not be surprised if that's an update that we see from iRacing and in weeks and months to come. So James Montgomery will start his first flying lap here in the Legends of Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Into turn 1, into Tarzan, through the hairpin. It's a good amount of curb riding on board with Montgomery now. Through a very tricky area of the circuit. Tight hairpin here. This is where Carlos Sainz had his incident in free practice 3 on Saturday morning. That's nicely done by Montgomery. And now really getting the speed up through these sweeping bends going out towards the back end of the circuit. Through one of the fastest corners on the circuit now. Feathering the throttle there. Formula 1 cars are pretty much flat through there, but definitely not in these little Mazdas. And now into a more technical section where you've got to keep your speed up through the corners. Oh, and Montgomery's wide. That probably will be a 1X, so that'll be this lap deleted. And back round to where we picked James up on his outlap, late apex. Coming onto the short straight into the stadium section. Apart from that little moment coming through the double right-handers, Howard, this is looking like a good lap. I mean, unfortunately, it is not going to count, but Montgomery looking on top of things pretty much, even in these early stages.
Yeah, showing a good turn of pace. I'm sure he's thanking us for shining the spotlight quite so much as he's finding his feet. But no, it's a good run so far. Pushing hard, as you could see in that middle sector, but you know, you're learning every lap, and he's been doing plenty of the. We've had a lengthy practice session before this as well, so yeah, this should be good. But as you say, just a little issue this lap, so he'll probably be looking to do better.
Yeah, lap time's coming in. Mike Hart's currently the fastest driver out there on a 1:55.55. Here he is in the early stages of his second lap. The second corner also not as banked as viewers of the Grand Prix will have seen at the weekend. There still is a little bit of camber for them to work with there. Alex Cobb has had a good start, has popped in a 1:55.56. Chris Hansen goes into provisional pole position there, 1:55.23. Immediately beaten by one of our debutants, Sam Sanders, 1:54.79. Here is Matt Horgan, Howard. I don't think he's completed a lap yet.
Nope. It'll be interesting to see where he positions at the end of this first lap, as Michael Preston jumps up to second place at 1:54.8.
But interestingly, not quicker than Sam Sanders at the moment.
No, that is interesting, isn't it? We've got a debutant on provisional pole at the moment. That would set the cat amongst the pigeons.
Approaching the end of the lap here for Matt Horgan, one of our key runners in Class 2 for the less experienced drivers, going through Arie Lundijk curve now, or box as I should say in Dutch, across start finish. Where is this going to stick Matt Horgan? Can he get it up around the area of where Matt Cobb is, perhaps? In 5th place. In fact, he can do better. He can put it on the second row of the grid. 4th place for Horgan, 1:55.45, so ahead of Mike Hart. Crucially, Howard, alongside his championship rival in Class 2, Chris Hansen, there on second row.
Yeah, absolutely. Good lap there from Horgan. I'm just looking to see who else is improving, because there's plenty of people doing so at the moment.
Montgomery goes to P3, so James Montgomery onto the second row. Here is Murray Adams, another one of our contenders high in the scoring ranks in Class 2. Currently has not set a lap time. So it's Sanders from Preston, that's row 1. Hansen, Montgomery, row 2. So Chris Hansen has improved to 3rd. That's his 2 laps done though. Tom Dix has had a good qualifying so far as well, Howard. 5th place for the driver in the number 69. Matt Horgan still there in 6th. Mike Hart and Alex Cobb row 4, Steve Hicks and Christopher Powell row 5. Craig Brown, who was fantastic last time out in Spa, on row 6. But there is a big lap time from Michael Preston, 1:54.48. And the Team Southampton Motorsport driver is on pole.
Yeah, good lap there from Michael Preston. Opening up well there, but he's not massively comfortable with this one, is he? I think there's some other people who could challenge this one, Andrew. Not least of all is Sam Sanders.
Yeah, Sam Sanders has done his 2 laps now, but it's a decent qualifying from the driver in the number 34. Here he is, 154.7 last time around. And no Josh Ladd here this evening. He's, unfortunately, I think across the course of the season, going to be using the drop scores for the rounds he's not able to attend. But if he's watching at home, or wherever he is in the world, that is good news for his title bid. If there is a new challenger to Michael Preston taking all the points. Good evening to Matthew Graham, who says it's £5 to whoever bins Michael Preston this evening. Well, that's an interesting development in the scenario of this race. Will Sam Sanders be interested in that? He's not going for a championship, he's just going for glory at the moment. Here's Alan Curtis, 18th on the grid at the moment, 157.33. I think we have got 2 drivers starting from pit lane. They're going to be Matthew Hale and Kieran Fitzgerald. And what can Curtis do here? This is coming to the end of his second fast flying lap, trying to get ahead of Kirith Calirai and James Fremont. Across the line goes Curtis, and he does. He improves to 17th place and 157.22. And with that, I think all of our drivers have completed their qualifyings. We'll give the clock 45 seconds to count down to the end of the 10 minutes. But it looks here, Howard, as if Michael Preston has taken another timed qualifying pole position for race 1 here in the Legends of Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Good lap from Preston. Kirith Calirai has just improved slightly, which apologies for missing that. Timing was suggesting to me he'd already done all of his laps, so I'm not sure. I might have had a timing glitch there. But no, does improve there. I know we've got a lot of people tuning in to support Kirith tonight, so he has just improved up to 16th place. But yeah, good lap by Preston. Come out of the traps, trying to hit the ground running, and going to be interesting to see as we get ready for gridding up for race number 1.
So race number 1 then. If this is your first time watching one of these, it's a straightforward race ordered by the qualifying that we have just seen. So it will be Michael Preston on pole position, Sam Sanders alongside him on the front row for his first race here in this series. James Montgomery also making his debut on that second row of the grid. Chris Hansen, the first of the Class 2s, fourth on the grid. Tom Dixon, Matt Horgan, row 3. Horgan being the second of the Class 2s. Steve Hicks and Mike Hart, row 4. Alex Cobb and Chris Powell, row 5. Craig Brown and Murray Adams, row 6. Ben Bennyworth and David Whitehouse on row 7. Adrian Mertens and Kirith Calirai, row 8. James Fremont and Alan Curtis, row 9. Kieran Fitzgerald and Matt Hale starting from the back row of the grid. A sizable grid, 20 of them. And I get the feeling, Howard, that especially the early stages, this first sector is quite tight and twisty. It's going to be an element of survival, the early stages of this one.
I agree. I think, you know, we saw, not just in Formula 1, but in the support series as well at the weekend, you know, I thought everybody did very well to avoid contact on quite a few occasions. And we may not have that banking modification on the configuration of Zandvoort we're running tonight, but it's still very much like that sort of roller coaster feeling, you know, where you've got to be careful and you've got to have the wits about you when you're going side by side with other drivers. So yeah, definitely going to be an interesting one here.
Well, here we go then. Michael Preston, new livery for him this week. Lights coming on. Can it serve him up a victory here at Zandvoort? 5 lights on here in round 10 of the Legends of Club 100 BUKC iRacing Championship. We go. Good start for Preston. Very good start as well for James Montgomery, already challenging Sam Sanders for second place as they go down to Tarzan for the first time. 3 wide in the midfield. Preston defends to the inside. Sanders looking there to the inside as well. There's a little bit of contact and body panel rubbing I can hear behind, but apart from that, Howard, that's looking like a pretty clean start.
Yeah, I'm impressed so far, mate. It's not looking too bad as they head into Hugenholzbocht for the first time. working their way through there, but great start, as you noted, mate, from James Montgomery, and I think it was that Sam Sanders being put out wide onto the grass coming out of there, and he's going to be under threat here as they come through the mid-sector.
He is indeed. I think he's lost a position to Tom Dix in the all-black car. Chris Hansen with the Club 100 livery on the outside there. It's a great camera shot from above in the helicopter, and there's Matt Horgan in the purple and yellow car just behind. Steve Hicks has had a good start, up to 7th place in the Jägermeister sponsored car. Mike Hart in the Mean Machine in 8th, and just to take us down to 10th place as well, Chris Powell in the red, black and blue. Craig Brown diving down the inside, going for 9th place there, is up from 10th.
Yeah, on the whole, mate, quite a good start. I'm just looking to see if people have fallen off the back, and not too much to report yet. We'll double check that, see if anyone's coming into the pit at the end of this lap, but I haven't spotted too much going on towards the back with people dropping off. So, good start, generally speaking, I think.
There's battle going on. Yeah. You can see Mike Hart out there. Oh, Mike Hart round and into the barriers. And can he get it on the right-hand side of the circuit? He's actually recovered that very well, but Matt Horgan's in trouble as well in the gravel on the outside of Harry Lundijk box there. Surely that's going to be significant damage for Mike Hart. Is he going to come into the pits, or is he going to carry on? So drama at the end of lap 1 for some of our key runners. There are a couple of drivers coming into the pits. Murray Adams is in the pits. Murray Adams
he might.
Damage.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage going on there, isn't there? So I spoke too soon. There's definitely some attention needed on that car there. Kieran Fitzgerald in as well. So some damage to his car as well. Oh yeah, that's got a fair bit of damage, I think. Not the best shot to show it.
Racing car bobbling along pit lane, then gets a fast repair done and back out again. I think Mike Hart is in trouble with his car because he's fallen down the order now to 17th place. Only Adrian Mertens behind him of those who've not stopped. Let's have a look. Yes, there is significant body panel scrapage to the front left-hand corner, and look at this, there's absolute chaos. My goodness me, he's just managed to fit through there. I think Matt Hale was involved there, James Fremont maybe as well. Well, what on earth was happening there? And I think is that the D&D wildcard entry of Alan Curtis is involved. That was all coming around the back side of the circuit through Masters box, and a number of cars there, Howard, out of the race.
Yeah, Adrian Mertens, Matt Hale, Alan Curtis, Adrian Mertens, all in the pit lane and retired with that incident, Andrew. So, dramatic stuff there from about the mid-pack of the field. That's the first instance we've seen so far of what we were talking about, of the tight, the area where you've got to be careful going side by side. Look at this, though, down the start-finish straight. Everyone trying to break the toe here. Tom Dix with Sam Sanders alongside. This is the battle over 3rd place.
It is indeed. Both drivers giving respectful room there. That was really well worked by Sam Sanders. Didn't go charging in there, but did enough to get Tom Dix off the racing line. Then ran wide and offered the opportunity to Sam Sanders to nip through and get into 3rd place. On board now with Chris Hansen, leader of the Class 2s at the moment, on the brink of winning the Class 2 championship.
Gyro camera shows the nature of this circuit more than most of the others we go to, doesn't it, mate? You can see the undulations and the camber here. Pursuit of Tom Dix.
Big prizes, of course, coming up for our Class 1 and Class 2 winners. Details of all of them on the front page of the DDMM YouTube channel, on the teaser video at the start of the season. Here we're having a look at Kirith Kali Rai in the
damage.
9. Damage, yeah, indeed, to Kirith Kart's machine. Having said that, though, he's pulled his way through the order quite nicely.
Apologies, Andrew, to Alex Cobb behind, isn't it, who's got the real bumper hanging off?
Yes, he has. Yes, he has indeed, in 11th place. But if Kirith can keep going here, Howard, I feel this is a solid start. to, oh yeah, a lot of damage there to the 68 damage model recently updated on the Master MX-5 being tested there. But Kirith not being involved in that incident that's taken out a number of the other Class 2s. This is a good opportunity to get some strong points on the board on an evening where he'd be looking to move forward, looking to solidify his spot in the top 5 in Class 2.
Yeah, it's a good point, mate. He's going to be capitalising by keeping it clean in this one, isn't he? So it's good if he can keep it like that. We've still got some good battles going on up front. Tom Dix still battling away here with Chris Hansen, and every so often getting close to Sam Sanders ahead as well, who's now on the back of James Montgomery. Still not allowing Michael Preston to get away at the front either, are they? There is our leader.
Fastest driver out there at the moment on the last lap. Sam Sanders, well, 1:54.16 as Hansen looks to the inside there of Tom Dix. This is a good race at the front of the field. Oh, Preston wide. Preston wide there. Just about got it all together. That's where James Montgomery ran wide on his first qualifying lap, but clearly one of our championship contenders here, Howard, pushing very, very hard as Hansen's down the inside of Dix.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Not being allowed to rest easy here at the front at all is Michael Preston, as they're still side by side in the battle over 4th place, and it finally goes the way of Chris Hansen. Highest placed Class 2 rudder now by a couple of cars back to Chris Powell. But yeah, this is hotting up at the front.
Yeah, biggest mover at the moment in the race is Kirith Kalirai, up 6 positions. Up 5 places, Ben Bennyworth. Preston trying to break the toe once more. Sam Sanders challenging James Montgomery now for 2nd place, trying to get him offline like he did with Tom Dix earlier in the race. Looking backwards now from Michael Preston's rear bumper, side by side almost between Montgomery and Sanders, but Sanders just tucks in. Halfway through the race, Howard, 10 lap heats tonight for the Masters. It's still very, very tough to call.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a really interesting evening's racing, isn't it, mate? They've had just a little bit more anticipation tonight, having to wait that little bit longer. And there's some new drivers in the mix, and it's proving quite the combination so far. I really don't know how this one's going to go. And Michael Preston definitely with the pressure on here at the front of this one. Yeah, but we wanted them to battle as much as possible. Yeah, indeed. Although he has been taking a slightly wider exit from that turn 9 corner anyway, I've noticed. But so I'm not sure if it's accident or design in a way, but it doesn't seem to be working too well in terms of pace, does it? But do you know what? I won't tell him how to race in iRacing. I think he's got me beat. But no, really interesting race so far with this breakaway 3, one of those aspects of it.
Yeah, very much a breakaway 3 now. Chris Hansen still there in 4th, Tom Dix 5th, and Steve Hicks, Christopher Powell, and Bennyworth, Matt Horgan and Kirith Kalirai wrapping out the top 10. Here's Alan Curtis going down the inside of Matt Hale. This is over 18th place through Tarzan Bok to now, and a good move there from Curtis, gains himself a position.
Yeah, both on a bit of a recovery drive, these two, aren't they, after being entangled in that incident at Masterbocht. But yeah, good pass there by Alan. That was well executed.
Kieran Fitzgerald, the next car up the road, back with our leaders. Definitely closing in now on Michael Preston are James Montgomery and Sam Sanders. This is lap 6 of 10. Back to the blimp cam. See how the Zandvoort circuit winds its way through the sand dunes into the long right-hander now of Chevrolet. Preston takes good speed through there, Howard. Gets himself a bit of breathing space. And crucially, coming up on some traffic, Adrian Mertens is the driver in 20th place. This could be a factor with 4 laps after this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Could be interesting to see how they make that work. Can Michael get through efficiently?
Over the top of the hill then. Is there an opportunity for Sam Sanders down here? And oh, he's got that wrong. He's braked himself. Now can he keep himself moving through the gravel, not get too stuck? He's going sideways. That's actually pretty well controlled. Didn't want to come back on the circuit and take out James Montgomery, but that is a classic Zandvoort incident for me, Howard. Just braked a little bit too late. As the spinner, I think it's Mertens in front of the leaders.
It is, yeah.
And he's got damage as well. A lot of damage, in fact, for Adrian Mertens there. He's going to have to come into the pit lane to get that repaired, and has possibly not got a fast repair left. Yeah, just outbraked himself a little bit there, did Sam Sanders. There were big consequences.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to say it's a bit of a shame that he missed the Rallycross special event that we did earlier in the season, though, because as you say, that was fairly well controlled over the gravel there. But what it's allowed here, Andrew, is that James Montgomery no longer has to worry about defending. He can just go on the attack.
He can indeed. There's more back markers coming up for the leaders. Matt Hale and Alan Curtis, you just saw in the distance there, looking back from Preston now on lap 7 of 10 here at Zandvoort for the first race of the evening here. It's the 2021 Legends of Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship, round 10 of 13. First of 3 races this evening. And a close battle here at the front of the field. It spells out good news for the rest of this evening. Remember, races 2 and 3, the grid for those races will be a reverse or a partial reverse grid. Whichever driver finishes in 10th position will have pole position for race number 2. Currently, that is Kirith Kalirai. Sam Sanders, though, back on the tail of Chris Hansen in the 001, looking to wrap up the Class 2 Championship. It's been brilliant so far this season. Out of Hansen's box they go. Tom Dix starting to come back into this, Howard. Don't count him out there in 5th place. Who's that wide? Is that Montgomery wide? I think it is. James Montgomery has gone wide through Ari Lundijk curve. He's got back on circuit but lost a lot of speed here, and surely Michael Preston now has got a clear run to the flag.
Yeah, that's the opportunity that he needed. And there goes Chris Hansen down the inside of Montgomery into Tarzan. And gets the move done. Nicely executed there by Chris Hansen. Sees the opportunity. And Montgomery is back to the job of having to hold a Sam Sanders at bay as he tries to attack back into 3. But can't make it stick. And that was a costly moment for Montgomery. And as you say, Andrew, I don't think Preston will need a second invite to take this race victory, will he?
Yeah, he's got 4 seconds over the field now. And Chris Hansen, he won't be particularly interested in charging down that 4 seconds, because this is more points for him in his Class 2 campaign. Sam Sanders looking around the outside of James Montgomery now for 3rd place through Masters Box and into Box 9. I do like with Zandvoort's track map how we've got, and I say, some fantastic corner names, a real mix of geographical features, Dutch racing legends, and then they've just got Box 9 and Box 10.
I believe in the past they have allowed those to be named after brands willing to pay for the pleasure.
Okay.
So they have been other names in the past. But for now, I don't. That's not me doing advertising, because I have no idea if that's still open to businesses or if they've stopped that practice. But I know historically
they're open for business this evening. Maybe
let's do it, mate. I think
double. To the channel tonight. We'll name the corners after you. How about that?
Yeah, I thought you were going to get me on the phone to
Zandvoort. Unsubscribe and then subscribe again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I thought you were going to get me to go on the phone to Zandvoort then and get a double dash bocht in created.
A G3 Pro bocht.
I have to say as well, just on the corner names, as someone who's a big fan of Rockingham, every time that I say Tarzan, it's just it's a niche reference, but it just gets me in the feels each time. Montgomery now really putting the pressure or trying to find a way. He's strong in that first few corners of the lap, isn't he? Keeps feeling that he has an opportunity into Jugendholzbocht, but I think that tends to leave him slightly weaker through this part of the lap because Sam Sanders tends to be right on the rear here. Last time he tried to go all the way around the outside. This time it looks like he's perhaps looking to tuck underneath if the opportunity is there, and the opportunity may well be there. No, just hasn't got the overspeed to get his nose alongside. So hold station for now. Good little battle this, albeit it's two drivers who are... actually, it's quite strange how much they're parallel than. It was their first round, and they were both running it slightly higher up and are now licking their wounds slightly, but still going at it hammer and tongs.
Yeah, indeed. And Tom Dix is still there in 5th place in the number 69. Simple jet black livery for him this evening. He's got rid of his warning learner driver livery. Clearly didn't need it anymore. To say he's been running well in Class 1 this year. That's Matt Hale in the Duff Beer entry just ahead, the 333. And going on to the last lap here, 9 laps completed for Michael Preston onto his final tour of the circuit here in race 1. This has been, I think, what we've become accustomed to so far this season, a classic Michael Preston drive.
Yeah, absolutely. There's, we have to look back a little bit though, because as they're just going past Matt Hale there, this is definitely where there might be some action on this last lap. But yeah, brilliantly driven race by Michael Preston. I know he's, you know, a cynic would say he was gifted it by the mistakes of others, but he was already in the lead. He was absorbing that pressure brilliantly anyway. And yeah, has just controlled the pace brilliantly, as we've seen from him multiple times so far this season.
Flowing through the end of sector number 1 then for the last time in this one. Can Sam Sanders find a way past either James Montgomery or Chris Hansen? Still, as you were, tight lines through and into Masters box they go then. A little bit of space on the inside there provided by James Montgomery, but Sam Sanders not able, the braking zone is quite short there into Masters box. Able to squeeze through.
Yep, sorry, timing did a weird glitch on me then. That was faux drama from me there, but yeah, this is a good battle here. As they come into the latter part of the lap now.
Got to feel there's one more chance for Sam Sanders. He is having half a look there into Hanser's box, into the stadium section, which proved very tricky at the weekend. A lot of gravel was kicked up and around that area of the circuit. Unless he can get a run out of the final corner, I think he's going to have to settle for 4th place in this one. But what a win. Another win this season for Michael Preston, in such good form and on an evening where he's got a big opportunity to gain big points in the championship. He started it perfectly with a win from pole position. 2nd place for Chris Hansen, another win for himself in Class 2. 3rd for James Montgomery, 4th for Sam Sanders. Good starts for them in this season, and the chaos begins. Tom Dix 5th, 6th for Steve Hicks, 7th for Chris Powell, 8th for Ben Bennyworth, 9th for Matt Horgan, 10th is going to be Kirith Kalirai. Kirith is going to have pole position for race number 2. Mike Hart was a factor early in the race but finishes in 11th. 12th for David Whitehouse, another good drive for one of our less experienced drivers. 13th for Alexander Cobb on his debut in the series. 14th for James Fremont, and then just to wrap up those who've had problems in this race, Alan Curtis, Matt Hale and Adrian Mertens have all crossed the line at least 1 lap down. Craig Brown retired. The last 2 cars that we've got out there are going to be this driver here, Murray Adams in the 210, and Kieran Fitzgerald in 16th place for Double Dash Racing. But a good first race there, Howard, and another win for Michael Preston.
Yeah, I think it was a really exciting race at the front, but I do also think one of the points that you made there, mate, is going to be interesting coming into race 2. There are some people who had an unfortunate time of it in that race, and it's going to be a case of seeing how they get on now, trying to come from the back or doing somewhat of a recovery drive over the course of the next 2 races. There are some names who we didn't get chance to mention during the running of that because they were involved in something early on, lap 2, lap 3, who I think we're gonna come to see some good stuff from over the next 2 races.
Absolutely. So just waiting for the last car over the line, checking out some of your comments. Good evening to Isa in the chat. Gav Jarman saying well done to Kirith. Kirith saying he's trying to move up from 10th. I don't think he realises he should have reverse grid pole if my information is correct.
I think your information is correct because on this confirmed result he is.
So the grid already forming up. If you enjoyed that first race and you wouldn't mind, consider subscribing. If you haven't already done so, that would be very, very valuable. I always struggle to say how, whether it's invaluable, valuable. It's very, very, very valuable to us here on the channel for that support. But we are getting ready then for race number 2. Same race length, 10 laps, partial reverse grid. So a chance for those who finished in the midfield to move forward. Kira thinks there's a glitch. It's put me on pole. F. No, not a glitch at all.
No, not a glitch.
On skill alone has Kirith got pole here. Lights coming on then for race number 2 here at Zandvoort. 5 lights, out they go, and away we go for racing once again here at Zandvoort. Good start from Kirith Calirai at the front of the grid. Good start as well. I think that was Ben Bennyworth from 3rd on the grid. Has already got past Matt Horgan as they head into Tarzan for the first time. Chris Powell on the inside there looking for a manoeuvre. Are they all going to get through turn number 1? Here comes Ben Bennyworth trying to go around the outside of Kirith Calirai there as they run towards turn 2 and turn 3. Brilliant move from Ben Bennyworth. Round the outside, can he keep it under control? Running a little bit wide. There's one of the cars, I think it might be Alexander Cobb, spinning off towards the back of the field already. It is indeed.
It is indeed.
And the number 68 back at the front. Ben Bennyworth leads from Matt Horgan. Kirith Calirai in 3rd place. Steve Hicks has had a good start. He's already up to 4th place. Tom Dix has followed through to 5th. James Montgomery up to 6th. That could be a key point in this race, Howard, that of those drivers that we saw in that breakaway 3, it's James Montgomery who seems to have made the best start.
Yeah, really good start from Montgomery, working his way up as there's a bit of contact in the mid pack here as Horgan challenges for the lead into Masterbocht, I believe we're at the moment. Just after that, turn 9 and 10, this complex, and Matt Horgan to the lead of the race as Ben Bennyworth comes to the press. That's round 4, Steve Hicks there. And he's going to plummet down the order with that. He's going to recover right at the back of the field. But that is one of the key players in this championship, Andrew, now with everything to do.
Yeah, Mike Hart's had a problem as well. He's down 7 positions into 18th already. Biggest mover in the early stages of this race. And yet there's problems, definite problems for Mike Hart there. The front left has gone on his number 11. And just about misses Steve Hicks there as he comes back on circuit. Craig Brown looks to be the biggest mover on the first lap though. He's up 8 places to 12th, having started at the back of the field. End of lap number 1, Matt Horgan leads, needs to score big points here in the Class 2 Challenge. Ben Bennyworth has had a strong run so far. He's there in 2nd place, down the inside. The number 19 there of Michael Preston, looking for a move on Sam Sanders. We've already seen them go toe-to-toe in race number 1. Here it is again, early stages of race number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Side-by-side action all the way through the field at this stage. There are some real good battles going on throughout at the moment. Difficult to keep track of them all. Class 2 having a really good battle. Here it is going to one of the several battles in Class 2 coming through turn 3 at the moment. James Fremont, Kieran Fitzgerald, Alan Curtis, Adrian Mertens and Matt Hale all nose to tail here. So not as much field spread so far in the early stages of this one.
Just caught a sight of Kieran Fitzgerald going through shot there in 14th place, side by side between James Montgomery and Ben Bennyworth. This is over second place, and it looks like Montgomery's got down the inside and got the move done. Good stuff by the newcomer to the series here this week.
Bennyworth trying to come back though, I think.
Yeah, he was trying to come back there into turn number 10. Kirith Kalirai still holding himself up there in 4th place in the 999. Sam Sanders there all over his rear bumper in the 34. Michael Preston coming through as well. And big move from Sam Sanders on the brakes round the outside. Fantastic stuff, gets him up to 4th place.
Yeah, that was a lovely move there on Kalirai, wasn't it? That he put that move on. Really nicely judged by Sam Sanders, driving really, really well here. Is the BUKC driver in his debut in this Legends series.
Good start for David Whitehouse as well, as up 3 places to 9th. So remember again, 10th place in this race gives you pole position for race number 3. Serving Kirith Kalirai pretty well at the moment. Hold him up there in the middle part of the top 10 at the moment. Murray Adams, another driver who's had a good start, up 4 places to 11th. Mike Hart has been in and out. In fact, he's still in the pit lane. So I don't think we're going to see the number 11 in any kind of meaningful action in this particular race. Hopefully we'll see him back out for race number 3. Looking back now from Matt Horgan. 0.8 of a second is the lead for the number 27 over James Montgomery there in the pink number 14. Ben Bennyworth has not given this up.
No.
We've seen this in flashes throughout this season. Ben Bennyworth, when he gets himself into this position, is a neat little racer in that D&D wildcard car.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree that he's not giving this one up without a fight. But Sam Sanders is now starting to apply that pressure. But we do well to get round the outside of 9. In fact, is he going to open up the inside for 10? Yes, he is. And Sam Sanders, Andrew, yet again showing absolutely superb racecraft this evening. That was a brilliant move to take him up into 3rd place.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen it a number of times in the BUKC in the season. I say this season, it's a completed season now. We're quickly moving on to BUKC 2022. Yeah, Sam Sanders showing all of his experience there to work his way through and gain that position.
Now Michael Preston putting pressure on Ben Bennyworth. Just had a bit of two very fast drivers coming up behind him over the last half a lap as Bennyworth trying to hold against them. Heading down towards Tarzan, he will have the inside line. Going to need to judge that braking well. Preston's going to try around the outside anyway, which is something that we did see out the weekend just gone, and Preston has made that work. He'll have the inside line for Hugenholtzbocht, and that is the move done for 4th place.
Good stuff. Already into the middle stages of this race. Now with Steve Hicks, bit of contact with the 143 there of Alan Curtis. Over 12th place. Steve will be looking to fight back here. Oh, there's big contact there. And I think Cobb has come into trouble as well with Alan Curtis. Alan Curtis and Steve Hicks colliding there. A huge amount of damage to the 143 who tows to the pits. And Alex Cobb, I think, is going to have to tow back as well. Oh, yeah, look at that. Huge damage to the front left. But Steve Hicks maybe being a little bit eager there to get through. And Alan Curtis being caught out by it, and resulting in that contact.
Oh, look at this at the front. Changes going on here.
Yeah.
Whilst we were watching that contact, Andrew, James Montgomery to the front. Sam Sanders following through into 2nd as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So all change here for the big points in this race. Still all to play for. At the moment, it's that, you'd say the top 6 covered by a 2nd or thereabouts. Here we are on board with Chris Hansen at the back of this train. We'll just be looking to try and overtake that number 27. Down the inside looks Ben Bennyworth for 5th place, and down. Oh, that's beautiful from Chris Hansen. That is very good indeed. In fact, is there a problem for Matt Horgan? He seems very, very slow off of Tarzan box. He's now being challenged by Tom Dix for 6th place here, and yes, Dix is through. So Tom Dix has got past Matt Horgan, who's fallen a significant number of positions. I just wonder, is there damage to that number 27, because he seems to have completely lost all of his pace. I'm just looking round to see if there's any tyre rubbing. No, it looks okay, but this is quite strange that having held that car at the front of the order for so long, that he's suddenly dropping back very quickly.
Yeah, nothing visually apparent was there, at least on my monitor. My damage model wasn't showing anything. But yeah, look at this at the front though. Sam Sanders all over the back of James Montgomery for the lead of this one. This is brilliant stuff, isn't it? Two drivers who we've not seen before in Legends. And in Michael Preston, someone who has shown so much talent so far this season.
It is one of the things we were hoping about with this Zandvoort layout, that it was going to produce some close racing.
Yeah.
And the drivers as well have raced each other in 9 events previous. I don't even know how each other... And it's that thing that we've talked about in real full metal Club 100 racing, that, you know, over a course of the season, you battle with the same drivers, you know how they're going to behave out on circuit. You can have closer battles as you put more trust in your fellow competitors. Here comes Sam Sanders once again, trying to go to the outside now of James Montgomery, squeezing him down there onto the curb through Tarzan box. It's a good attempt, but Montgomery holds him off.
Brilliant. There's contact as they go through 2. They somehow keep it together there, Andrew. It's still Montgomery's. Preston is going to look to capitalise. I should say Tom Dix and Matt Horgan doing battle as well behind all of this. But understandably, we're keeping eyes peeled on what is quickly becoming, Andrew, a nose-to-tail top 5 for the lead of this race.
Bit of a nervous moment this for Michael Preston. He will be thinking championship in this scenario. 2 drivers ahead of him, debutants tonight, not part of the battle for the overall honours. A driver behind who's been consistent through the season but is probably not in the title fight. And then a Class 2 driver as well. He's the one, you'd say, with most to lose of this 5.
That's a good point.
Just a note, I have had a look. Sam Sanders is wearing a Mika Hakkinen helmet in that number 34. So true to form. I do like that one.
I'll see if I can get a camera of it.
Should be able to see it on the.
Yeah, I can see that. That's very nice as they come through. And could be any of these 5, couldn't it? This is brilliant stuff.
Still in 6th place there is Tom Dix. Matt Horgan seems to have refound his pace. I mean, it could have been a slowdown, but it would have been a bit of a strange place to get a slowdown. There's Craig Brown.
Yeah, nice little battle this.
This is a tricky one, actually. What do you do in this situation? 10th place at the moment for Craig Brown is not 9th or 8th, not those points, but it is pole position for the next race. It's back with the leaders. Montgomery still ahead of Sanders and Preston.
We mainly switched, Andrew, because on my timing screen their gap suddenly went negative. Well, they swap round on timing. My timing doesn't actually go negative with the gaps. It does update positions, but yeah, really, really interesting stuff this. But yeah, to come back at it, good little battle this between Whitehouse, Adams and Brown. Sorry, mate, go on.
And Craig Brown last week we saw with a... Whoa, he's pushing hard there. Very impressive drive from a reverse grid pole position at Spa 2 weeks ago. And took some big points as a result of that race. So I just wonder, is he thinking about trying to do that again? I mean, it'd be a little bit more difficult to do that tonight. That was in the Ferrari GT3s, where he got a lightning start and got clear of the slipstream. It's, you know, a much harder thing to do in these low-powered Mazdas. But he has got that experience of leading the latter racers from pole position. Some update on those towards the bottom of the order. Cobb, Curtis and Hart we know about as having had issues. I think Kirith Kalirai had some issues that we didn't see as well, because he's currently down in 17th place. Steve Hicks at the moment has recovered to 12th place. Just trying to close down Kirith Fitzgerald. Here's the fight for 13th place. James Fremont, Adrian Mertens and Christopher Powell. The top five, Howard, started to split apart a little bit here. Chris Hansen and Ben Bennyworth side by side, and it's the same top three clear at the front.
Yep, absolutely. And they almost go, they try to go three abreast towards Tarzan. It is Chris Hansen who's on the move here, down the inside of Ben Bennyworth, and I think he's going to make that stick to take himself up into fourth. Good move there. And still Tom Dixon, Matt Horgan having a battle behind, although I wonder, Andrew, if they've maybe called a bit of a stalemate to see if there's not some pickings that come their way from this battle up front.
Yeah, it's a good point to make. Side by side, Preston trying to get past Sam Sanders now. Oh, this is pressure now for one of the championship contenders. It's going to be on the outside though for the next big braking zone. Catch a nice sight there of the University of East Anglia logo. UEA, of course, the team that Sam Sanders raced for this season in the BUKC, and very, very well as well. And news coming out about BUKC 2022 as well. Keep an eye out here on the DDMM channel. We have got some content coming up, very much focusing on newer drivers, maybe preparing themselves for the new BUKC season. Some good pointers and tips coming through, so more reasons to subscribe here to the channel. Lap 8 of 10 though in the second race of 3 here this evening at Zandvoort. Andrew Mather and Howard Mitchell on commentary duties for you here on the DDM YouTube channel. And what a race we're being treated to. Still James Montgomery leading from Sam Sanders, but Michael Preston looks keen to get through here and gain some more points in his championship charge.
As you say though, it's crucial that he does so cleanly, because otherwise he's missing out on a whole host of points. He is actually, I mean, if you look at where Steve Hicks is in this race after the issues he's had earlier on, this is a valuable haul of points for someone like Preston, given his position in the championship, so it has to be clean. It has to be clean.
David Whitehouse, Murray Adams, Craig Brown, still the 8th, 9th, 10th battle, just to keep you abreast of that one. In fact, here is Chris Powell trying to get past James Fremont. This is over 12th position. Two drivers from Class 2. On board now with Powell. Ooh, a little bit deep there from Fremont. Powell trying that outside line. Going to be difficult to get through on this next sequence of corners though. Very much single file, such a high speed region of the circuit. Little bit of damage to the front left fender there on Powell's car. And Fremont closes the door there on any kind of attempts at getting through. Here's Kieran Fitzgerald. Good to have him back in the series. Trying to get past Adrian Mertens here. On board with the Bobble Hat Racing car now. And putting up a good defence here is Mertens.
Yeah, I was just thinking that actually, mate. Positioning the car well.
Yeah, a couple of comments asking about what's happened to Kirith. Apologies, we didn't quite see what happened to Kirith, but yes, he has fallen down to 17th place. It was a few laps ago. Unfortunately, that occurred.
If I may offer our defence, there is a heck of a lot going on in this race.
On to the last lap we go then. Here we are back with the leaders. Sam Sanders looking to the outside once again. Big send round the outside. Can he get that stopped? They're going to be side by side again, surely off the corner. Preston's going to get in there as well. This is two drivers who've been on top form this year in the BUKC. Southampton versus UEA, and through goes Michael Preston. Little bit of contact with it. But that's a big, big move from Michael Preston. Sam Sanders going all out for the win, as he's perfectly entitled to do. Open the door for the 19 to gain another position.
And that's brought Chris Hansen into the mix for the remainder of this last lap, hasn't it? Brilliant stuff by Michael Preston. That's exactly what we were talking about with Preston. He had to be patient and pick the moment. And he has now got himself into a position where he could try and go for the race win, his second race win of the night. But either way, setting himself up for a good haul of points for this round on a night when some of his championship rivals aren't in quite such a luxurious position. Still Montgomery in the lead though.
Yeah, attacking and defending at the same time there into turn 10, taking that tighter line. Still very, very edgy. Breaking down into the arena section now. Good lines being taken by all four of these drivers. Powering out now. Only 2 more corners for James Montgomery to negotiate and take a first victory in the Legends of Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship on his first appearance here this evening at Zandvoort. Round the final corner. It is going to be a bit of a drag race to the line though. It's not going to be done until they see that checkered flag. Here comes James Montgomery though. He's going to take race 2. Second place to Michael Preston. Third for Sam Sanders. Fourth, another strong result for Chris Hansen in Class 2. Fifth for Ben Bennyworth. Good points and good use of the reverse grid from Bennyworth there in the 96. Tom Dix in 6th. Matt Horgan 7th, second of the Class 2s. Good recovery from Murray Adams as well there in 8th place. 9th for Steve Hicks. He got up a few more positions and has got himself a decent slot on the grid for race number 3. Pole position for race number 3 goes to David Whitehouse.
Yeah, it's a good point actually. Good recovery there from Hicksy. Go on, mate.
Craig Brown in 11th. If this is your first time watching, don't worry, this always happens when you cross the line. It won't affect the race results. And don't worry, we haven't got anyone in a full blown motion rig, so nobody's getting hurt. 11th for Craig Brown, 12th for James Fremont, 13th Kieran Fitzgerald, 14th for Adrian Merton, so Fitzgerald did manage to get through there. Chris Powell in 15th, Matt Hale 16th, 17th for Kirith Calirai, Alexander Cobb and Alan Curtis 18th and 19th, 2 last remaining runners out there. Mike Hart of retirement on lap number 2.
I agree. It was indeed lap number 2.
Questions come in from Gav, who asks, how do I get set up on iRacing? Actually, there's not a defined way of doing so. What I would recommend, though, Gav, Mr. Jimmy Broadbent, probably a couple of years ago now, and in fact I'll try and find it and stick it in the chat, did a very good video on how to get started in sim racing. Have a watch of that is what I'd say, and see what you want to do and get involved. But as I say, iRacing not the only option out there in the sim racing world, but we'd be very, very glad to see you here in the community. We're going to take a short break as we have the warm-up now for race number 3. Keep it tuned here on the DDMM YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, you could please consider pressing that subscribe button. That would be fantastic. We'll be back very, very soon for race number 3. Welcome back, everybody, to live coverage of the 10th round for the 2021 Legends of Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Andrew Mather and Howard Mitchell on commentary for you this evening on the DDMM YouTube channel. Do hope you're enjoying your evening with us here. We are getting ready for race number 3, the final race of the evening here at Zandvoort in the Mazda MX-5s. It'll be a reverse grid, or partial reverse grid again, of the result from race number 2. So David Whitehouse will have pole position for this one, with Steve Hicks alongside him on the front row of the grid, Murray Adams and Matt Horgan on row 2, Tom Dix and Ben Bennyworth row 3, Chris Hansen, Sam Sanders, Michael Preston, James Montgomery, your top 10. Howard, as I say, with me here in the virtual comms box provided to us by Discord. What are your thoughts ahead of this one, mate? Should be a good race.
Yeah, I mean, we've had enough action already and we're reversing grids, so this one is going to be really interesting, mate, as we are good for the go.
We are indeed. Away we go for the final time this evening, pretty even at the front of the grid there. Whitehouse chops across the front of Hicks to retain the lead as they go into Tarzan for the first time. Good start for the 308. Big set round the outside. I think that was Tom Dix going for a big one. Bit of a shoulder barge from Matt Horgan there on Murray Adams. Holds on to third place. Ben Bennyworth, good start, up 2 places already to fourth. Down the inside there is Chris Hansen looking at Murray Adams, and a bit further back there's chaos between Mike Hart's involved, Kieran Fitzgerald in there as well. And is that Michael Preston driving the wrong? No, it's Kirith Cali-Rai. It's Kirith Cali-Rai in trouble.
Yeah, that's going to be costly for Kirith. I'm sorry for the fan base that have tuned in for him, but that is a costly incident there to have happened at the start. Only 3 cars involved, as far as I can tell, so no suggestion it's going to be bringing out the safety car, because by and large, mate, it seemed like a relatively clean start, but for that incident towards the back.
Yeah, Kieran Fitzgerald is towed to the pit lane, so he's out of this race. Down the inside, looks Hicks there on David Whitehouse. My goodness me, very, very close there between the 2 orange liveried cars. Matt Horgan's looking to get involved in the pink and yellow there. And nearly 4 wide, nearly such shoulder barge between Hicks and Whitehouse. Here comes Matt Horgan, takes the lead. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, really nicely judged there by Matt Horgan, but I don't feel like this one's done yet. Steve Hicks still wanting to fight over what is now second rather than the lead, because Matt Horgan judged that brilliantly, and he's round. Steve Hicks is round, and there's contact there with the 19.
And it's Michael Preston.
It is Michael Preston. This is huge from a championship perspective.
Well, it was contact between Hicks and Bennyworth. Bennyworth tipping Hicks round there, and in such a tight part of the circuit, there was nothing that Hicks could have done about that, and then it was just a case of who was going to collect him, and it was one of the championship leaders, the event leader as well at this stage. My oh my, how big could that be in the context of this series?
Yeah, that was a big moment there, and there's a big opportunity now for points, particularly for some of these Class 1 runners, people like Ben Bennyworth. Good haul of points for him here.
Yeah, there may be a few words in the paddock about that one later. It's a big opportunity for the Class 2s as well to get some good points on the board. So, Preston, Hicks, Hale, Fitzgerald, all in pit lane now. They have got some fast repairs that they can use. There goes Michael Preston. He's back out. He's going to be in 17th place, I think, once everything shakes out. He's just behind Kirith Cali-Rai there. Well, what drama here at Zandvoort this evening. There's James Montgomery in the pink and blue car, number 14. Battling with Chris Hansen. This is over 5th place, trying to go around the outside of Ben Bennyworth. Still on lap 2, so much has happened already in this race. Drivers running wide out in the background there. That's Tom Dix in the 69, Sam Sanders in the 34. We go into the chicane. This is where it all kicked off on the previous lap. Cleaner this time. This has really opened the door now for those debuting tonight, and some of our big running Class 2s. And let's not forget David Whitehouse. David Whitehouse in second place at the moment.
Yeah, big opportunity.
And, I'm not saying this because he was on the same team as myself on Sunday night, but ran a very, very strong race at Montreal in the VRS Endurance Series in second split. As there's a car coming out of pit lane. I think it's Steve Hicks.
That's Steve Hicks.
It is.
Yeah. He's not going to be slow traffic, but is duly going to get out of the way. Fair play to him, because that must be a slightly galling thing to have to do, because he would dearly have loved to have been up in amongst these positions as Tom Dix goes side by side with Sam Sanders through Hugenholtzbocht and gets the move done.
Yeah, good move there. Bold on the inside, made sure the front axle didn't wash out there and have a bit of understeer. Very, very easy to do through that corner, very easy to overcommit. So still very close here with Matt Horgan at the front of the field. Down the inside there, Murray Adams, sorry, that is Sam Sanders on Tom Dix.
Yeah, that's because Dix went
further up the order.
Yeah, he went wide, and behind them, Craig Brown is trying to get past Steve Hicks, has now got by to sort of say, hey, I was part of the leaders too. Please let me go too. And has now got
down
through.
Inside, sorry, Howard, of Ben Bennyworth there, takes 5th place, but Ben Bennyworth is going to fight back here as they go down the back straight. Can Ben Bennyworth get the position back through Hans-Ernst Bocht? He's definitely going to have a good go. And they're going to be side by side as they come down into Kumo corner. Whoa, big moment there for Murray Adams, and has got a wing mirror loose there. Side by side once again, saying side by side a lot tonight, aren't we? As we go through Ari Lundijk. Curves, Sanders trying to find a way through. There's simply not the space here at the Circuit Park Zandvoort circuit to get through. And it's bringing Tom Dix and Craig Brown back in. This is a fantastic scrap for positions here in the Master MX-5s. We have missed them. It's great to have them back in the series, and this is why it just produces great racing.
I'm wondering what Hicks is thinking right now, having let these through. Is like, I can't. These guys are slow with all this battling going on. But yeah, good battle here as well for second, isn't it? Montgomery, Whitehouse, and Adams. Good to see David and Murray staying in touch with this battle right now.
Matt Horgan is pulling away, really pulling away from the rest of the field. 155.65 last time around. Montgomery last time around was quicker, so we'll see whether he can stay out, but at the moment the advantage is 1.7 seconds between first and second place. It's a tidy gap to have approaching the midway point of the final race this evening.
Craig Brown
between Ben Bennyworth and so there's a problem for Craig Brown there.
Brown past Dix was the significant bit in that part of the lap, mate, which I think he got by through what we think of as that sort of roller coaster mid-set to where it's hard to get by. So good move there by Craig Brown.
David Whitehouse and Murray Adams fighting there. This is over third place. On board with Adams. It's good to see some of the younger drivers fighting at the front here. I think they've got a couple of connection issues with Murray's cars. That'll be why the camera cuts out every now and then. Apologies for that. Can he find a way past David Whitehouse here for third place? Goes defensive down to the inside. I've seen drivers be able to defend this on that inside lane. Down the inside of Bennyworth goes Chris Hansen. Sam Sanders still in there as well, trying to find a way through. Bit of a shoulder check there between Bennyworth and Hansen. Bennyworth has also lost a wing mirror. Lots of left-hand side wing mirrors are going to be sold in the Master Spares catalogue this evening.
They are that, aren't they? I'm going to be honest, I'm having to go for wider angles, camera angles on this, just because I don't know where the next move might happen. So we're just going to look at the pack as a whole, as they're almost going 3 wide there between Sam Sanders, Ben Bennyworth and Craig Brown. As they come through the top part of the circuit, look at this. still side by side.
Yeah, such skill from these drivers to keep this all clean. And let's say we've already seen one incident through that part of the circuit on the way to Masters Block tonight, but these top drivers keeping it all pointing in the right direction. So in all that happened there, you saw Ben Bennyworth shuffled back a couple of spots. Hansen, in fact a few spots. Hansen has got through. Sanders and Craig Brown have got through as well. It's still at the back of all of this.
I was going to say, if
down,
it's any consolation, he's got the best seats in the house right here. I mean, like, let's go on board with him. Look at this, he's just got this fantastic battle going on ahead of him, which, so long as he doesn't upset anybody with his driving, he's fine, he can just enjoy this.
I'm sure as championship organiser that he will behave himself and not get involved. As I say, just be a perfect cameraman for us right now. Here's David Whitehouse still holding on to third place here, ahead of Murray Adams, Chris Hansen and everybody else. Getting the speed down. He's going to force Adams to go to the outside. We saw Sergio Perez do a couple of moves like this on Sunday, and that's another one there for Murray Adams. Through into third place. Here comes Sam Sanders trying to get through. Past Whitehouse. Now there's contact between the two of them. Is there going to be contact coming back on the circuit? No, Sanders controls it well. He likes driving on the grass and the gravel, doesn't he?
I genuinely thought he was... I thought he was going to become a torpedo into the corner there, mate, and he managed to hang that really well onto the grass.
Lap 6 out of 10. User asks, will the stream be available to re-watch after? Yep, it will be indeed. All rounds of this championship, this 2021 Legends of Club 100 BUKC iRacing Championship available for you to watch here for free on the DDMM YouTube channel. Remember, we've got more sim racing, more esports next week as Craig Brown goes down the inside of Chris Hansen. They always do this drivers, as I try and do a plug for a future event, so overtakes happen. Down the inside looking again goes Craig Brown. Hansen covers him off, holds 6th place.
You know what story's brewing away whilst we're looking at this fantastic battle, by the way? James Montgomery has been allowed to focus with all this battling over third. He's been allowed to focus on reeling in Matt Horgan. This is not a done deal for the win of this race.
Indeed. Keep an eye on it. Just whilst there's a moment of calm, I'll get this in quick. Tuesday night next week, 9 p.m. Rounds 3 and 4 of season 5 for the Gran Turismo Sport, the Club 100 Gran Turismo Sport Championship. But quickly we cut away from that because here is a battle for the lead. James Montgomery down the inside has got the speed, has taken P1.
Amazing overspeed that he had.
Potentially with that, Howard, that puts him in the lead of the event here tonight. Whitehouse down the inside. Gets his braking wrong, I think, a little bit there. Forces Sam Sanders out wide. Chris Hansen's the beneficiary of that. Gains 2 positions for the price of 1. Murray Adams back up to 3rd. This is getting very feisty.
Yeah, this could go interesting, isn't it? We've still got a third of this race to go, folks.
210 has shed its wing mirror now. I think I just saw the end of it trailing side by side almost once again.
Well, they're dead weight,
Whitehouse
the wing
and
mirrors.
Sanders.
Dead weight, these wing mirrors, not needed. As look at that line from David Whitehouse through the top part of the circuit, using absolutely everything he's able to with the track limits.
Down the inside once more, the number 34. It is such the nature of this Zandvoort track. It's very, very hard to do a big dive bomb because the next corner, as wide is Adams and Sanders. So Adams wide, coming out of turn 10. And he's going to be under pressure here from Chris Hansen. Back straight they go once more. Tom Dix in trouble? Contact between Craig Brown and David Whitehouse, and there's a big incident going into the penultimate corner. It was Craig Brown and David Whitehouse getting together there, and I think there may be damage to the number 41. Well, they were racing in close proximity. It was almost inevitable. But they have come to blows there, so that has really changed things in the top 6 or 7.
Still steering straight, and he's kept it going.
Yeah. Now trying to get past James Fremont, who's up into 9th place. So it's now Montgomery, Fun, Horgan, Hanson, Adams, Sanders, Dix, Whitehouse, Bennyworth, Fremont, Brown. Mike Hart's back up to 11th place, and here we're looking at the battle between Matt Hale and Alexander Cobb. This is over 17th place. Hale defending to the inside. In the 333. Kieran Fitzgerald, by the way, is not. I know we mentioned him in the pits earlier in the race, but he's unfortunately had to retire. Here is Michael Preston in 15th place. Now, I guess the slight saving grace for him this evening, Howard, is because we've got a lower number of entrants tonight. Even with this not so good race for him, he's still going to get some points. Gains another point there, actually gets him up to 14 ahead of Christopher Powell.
Still the battle going on here between Cobb and Hale through Gerlach-Bocht, and nicely judged there. Will Cobb be able to hang this one round the outside? Looks like he might be able to here. Doesn't quite have the camber that the latest layout of Zandvoort has, but nevertheless was still able to hang it round the outside of that corner. And it's Alex Cobb's place now.
It is indeed. I hope we see Alex Cobb back in. He's had a bit of... Oh, in fact, he's had a spin there. Was that contact as well with Matt Hale? Because Matt Hale's just waiting for him to get going again. Yeah.
I think that was Matt Hale being fair there. I think he decided not to take the advantage there. Wanted to race fairly, take this place fairly if he's going to at all.
Yeah,
that's how he wants to race.
Monitor. He did just get into the rear of Alex Cobb there. Back with the leaders though, and this has been a really good display from Matt Horgan this evening. He's not giving this one up. Striking back in the Class 2 standings as well with this effort.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to see how the Class 2 standings look for this round, because it has been a strong evening for Matt Horgan, but Chris Hansen has definitely been there. Very strong as Chris Hansen all season, particularly in the, if memory serves, in the GT ranks.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we may, maybe I shouldn't be said, this is unofficial right now, but I think that particular sub-championship within Class 2 may already have been decided. We'll let you know about that some other time when we're looking at the GTs, but it was a very strong campaign that Hansen's had. But yeah, it's going to be tight for the points this evening, because several Class 2 runners have had a really good innings. Oh, and that's wide from Montgomery out of the penultimate corner. So this is going to be an interesting one here. Does Horgan have the overspeed? This is the part of the lap where the lead was lost, wasn't it? Montgomery had the really good run down here. This time it's Horgan onto the final lap of the round, and they're side by side for the lead into Tarzan.
They are indeed. Good defence from James Montgomery. Gets it all together, and we'll note that for next time they go round that final corner for the run to the line, side by side between the two white and red cards. This is Murray Adams and Sam Sanders getting very close to one another once again, fighting over 4th place. And Sanders keeping it down the inside. If he holds that, that's a brilliant move. Yes, he does. Sam Sanders up to 4th place. Really entertaining racing from him all evening.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Sam Sanders. What a debut he's had, but what a debut too has James Montgomery had so far. Can he hang on to this one? He's got about a third of the final lap to go.
Has indeed. The last time we watched James Montgomery on a DDMM commentary, we were getting excited about his sausage penalties at Clay Pigeon. Well, no sausages inside of the circuit. I'm sure there's some in the Dutch campsites here at Zandvoort this evening. But a couple of corners now for James Montgomery to close out a very, very good evening of racing here in the 2021 Legends of Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. And I do hope we see James back for future rounds. In a month's time, we'll be heading to Suzuka before we then finish the season in November at Silverstone and Interlagos in back-to-back weeks. But James Montgomery is going to come around the final corner, at least provisionally. We'll have the points tallied up. Is going to win not just this race, but round 10 of the 2021 iRacing Legends of Club 100 and BUKC Championship. James Montgomery takes the race. A brilliant second place from Matt Horgan as well. Chris Hansen, strong all evening, takes third place. Sam Sanders there in fourth. Fifth place for Murray Adams. Sixth for Tom Dix. Seventh for David Whitehouse. Eighth for Craig Brown across the line in a few moments' time. Mike Hart recovers to ninth place there. 10th for James Fremont. Good top 10 for James. 11th for Alan Curtis. Adrian Mertens will be across the line in 12th place. Before we get into the drivers who've had big problems in this race, including Michael Preston, who was looking for the round victory here this evening, but is going to be denied as a result of that incident on lap 1 of this race. There he is, 13th. 14th for Ben Bennyworth, maybe a little bit disappointed with that as well. Chris Powell's had a tough evening and will finish this race in 15th. And still circulating out there, got Kirith Kelly-Wright. Here is Kirith. Lots of support for him in the chat as always. Thank you guys for tuning in. And it's looking really good earlier for Kirith, especially when he was leading from reverse grid pole in race number 2. Hadn't driven this circuit before tonight, so a decent effort from Kirith there. Do go check his channel out. 16th in the end for Kirith, and then this battle for 17th is still not completed, but it's going to be Alexander Cobb on his debut coming round to finish the race ahead of Matt Hale. Steve Hicks has already crossed the line, was a lap down. Kieran Fitzgerald retired on lap number 1. Well, there we go. That is all the racing completed here this evening, and it's been dramatic again, Howard.
Oh, you can say that again, mate. It's been an absolutely superb night's racing. Do you know what? I really did enjoy as well having the Mazdas back out. I think they really suited this track really well. It was fantastic to see them, right on the edge through that middle sector in particular. It was really good just watching the cars around the track this evening. And then as a bonus, the battles were just brilliant. I know there's been a few bits of contact here and there, but I've got to say that on the whole, I've been very impressed. Not the first time I've said it this season, but, given all the points that we were saying, several drivers haven't driven this track before. It's been a while since we were out in these Mazdas. It's not the widest circuit, particularly in some of the bits where the racing line is pretty, you're pretty much on rails through some of the roller coaster sections of this. All in all, I've been very impressed with the standard of driving. Yes, there have been a few incidents, and some of them have been quite critical. That incident, if anyone just saw that one, was not critical, the one that was on my screen just then. But no, that was, on the whole, a thoroughly enjoyable evening. Worth the wait of a slightly later start, I felt. Really good racing and fair play to all the drivers out there tonight.
Absolutely. Let us know in the feedback. Do you like the later start time? I think some people involved in the racing this evening have preferred it. As I say, we did it as a result of the update, the big update, the Season 4 update that dropped earlier on today. I was at one point thinking, are we going to have to cancel tonight because the user interfaces and stuff weren't working 2.5 hours before we started, but we got there and we had a great evening of racing. Stuff to look forward to in DDMM land will actually go outside of this channel first. Sunday over on the Alpha Live channel, myself and Howard will be down at Bayford Meadows for the next round of the Club 100 Sprints Championship. We'll be there live all day for all of the racing, and to get yourself in the mood, go and watch last year's stream. I think it was our first stream back after Lockdown 1 last year, and it was some cracking racing. The heavyweights especially had one of the races of the year in their A final. So do go check that out, and I'd say we'll be there on Sunday morning for both the lightweights and the heavyweights. We will be back here, or at least I will be back here, for Gran Turismo Sport next Tuesday, 9 PM. If you missed last week's racing round Brands Hatch, absolutely cracking. Luke Battersby joined me on commentary. It was a great evening, lots of fun. Do go watch that back. Fingers crossed I will hopefully get round to editing some Club 100 vlogs, because I'm massively behind on that. As I say, we've got some BUKC content for new drivers preparing themselves for their first experiences of Club 100 karts racing in the pipeline as well. And we are going to do a bit more iRacing racing ourselves. I think we're getting ourselves, building ourselves up, aren't we, Howard, for Petit Le Mans in early October. It's a big month to get ready for that one.
Yes, indeed. I mean, don't ask me what lap times I'm doing yet, mate. But yes, I am slowly gearing myself up for that, and looking forward to it as well. That'd be a cool one to do. Been too long since we've been able to do one of those endurance runs.
Yeah, and as I say, if those of you, or quite a few of you, will have already been there, because I can see same names from the chat on Sunday evening. But if you have got some time as well, and you want to watch some endurance racing within iRacing, head across to Kirith's channel, Kirith Kart. In fact, what I will do is I will put the link to the video that we did, the stream that we did on Sunday night, in the chat for you. It was a lot of fun, and we got pretty good results as well. So we did that, the 3-hour race around Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Regular viewers of the stream will know that this is the point at which we are padding to wait for the confirmed results from Steve Hicks. Let's have a read of some of your comments whilst we're doing that. Gav's had to go, but said take care to ourselves, Kirith and Dave. Superb commentary, says Al. Thank you very much, Al. Thank you for your continued support. Lots of well dones to David Whitehouse, because I think that's one of his best results so far this season. And lots of happy chat. Thank you, chat, tonight. You've been absolutely fantastic. It's been great following this race with you. As I say, we suspect that James Montgomery has taken the win. We just want to have that confirmed before we head off for this evening. And there's the link to the stream with Kirith on Sunday night in the chat. As we're waiting, Howard, and we're padding more.
Yes.
Bayford Meadows, looking forward to it?
I'm really looking forward to the sprints, because, as you say, the heavyweights last year when we did do that first stream back gave us an absolute treat. It was a really good circuit for racing. It feels like quite a unique circuit in some ways on the calendar. Quite high speed on the apexes of the corners. There's not really a really tight turn. They all sort of flow into one another. So really interesting circuit, I always find. In terms of whether I'm looking forward to racing there, I realised the other day I've not been on track there since I've not been on track there for 7 years. Not to worry you, mate. But I realised I just happened to have never raced there since 2014.
So is that going to be... Oh, I'm going to throw one out. Is that going to be No, not qualifiers for 2014. What will that have been for?
Actually, I'm going to even correct myself there. I've never raced there because it was a test day ahead of the BUKC season in 2014.
Yes. I remember it well. Everybody fell off at the end because it was wet.
It was. Sam, I was one of them.
Results are incoming. Bear with us, folks. I'm trying to think now. When was the last time I raced? I think the last time I raced at Bayford was when I was still doing sprints. I don't think we've done an enduro at Bayford.
Yeah, there's a long time where it wasn't on the endurance calendar, wasn't there?
Yes, we had an additional visit to Rye House. Keep your comments coming in. and give us the feedback as well. If there's areas where we can improve, we're always looking to improve these streams. We do have limited tech, but we try and eke as much out of it as we physically can. And just waiting for those results to come in, especially the Class 2 results. I'm intrigued to see what's happened with Class 2, because Matt Horgan getting a great result in there. I think he's got at least second place, but may have sneaked ahead of Chris Hansen right at the end there. The results are in. The results are in, folks. And I'm gonna do the JV way. I'm gonna go from 20th upwards. 20th for Matt Hale this evening, 248 points. 19th for Kieran Fitzgerald. 18th for Alexander Cobb. 17th for Alan Curtis. 16th Adrian Mertens into the top 15 now. 15th was Kirith Kali-Rai. 14th for Mike Hart. 13th Craig Brown. Christopher Powell in 12th. James Fremont in 11th. Into the top 10 then. 10th place Steve Hicks tonight on 266 points for the round. 9th for David Whitehouse, just off the podium in Class 2, but 9th for him. Onto the podium now in Class 2 in 8th place overall was Murray Adams on 272 points. A really solid evening of racing there from Murray. 7th place for Ben Bennyworth on 273, and then we jump 9 points to find in 6th place the second of our Class 2. Second in Class 2 tonight on 282 was Matt Horgan. Well done to Matt. Big points in the championship overall as well. 5th place into the top 5 now. 283 points for Tom Dix. 4th place off the podium tonight overall, but 3rd in Class 1 was Michael J. Preston. So Michael Preston, 285 points for him. That last race really, really costly for the Southampton driver. 3rd place overall, 2nd place in Class number 1 tonight was Sam Sanders on his debut on 289. Chris Hansen we'll have to do the maths, may have sealed Class 2 there with 2nd place overall tonight, winning Class 2 on 291 points. But in the end, a runaway win by some 6 points at the top of our standings here tonight at Zandvoort on his debut in the Legends of Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. It is James Montgomery. James Montgomery is your round 10 winner. And there we go. I think that's it, isn't it, mate? We'll wrap up the stream. Any last words?
Just some interesting points to note looking at that table. I think that puts Michael Preston in the pound seats for taking the MX5's sub-championship, so that'll be one to look out for.
Yeah.
And also, whilst Chris Hansen is having a really strong run of it in Class 2, he did miss the very first round of these Mazdas, so there's still a really interesting. That was a big score there for Matt Horgan, I think, in his pursuit in Class 2 of this sub-championship as well. So some interesting stuff to look ahead to. May actually have been quite a costly night actually for Kirith Kali-Rai within the MX5 standings, because he was running 2nd in class within that championship. So exciting stuff within the Mazda MX5s when they're next out for their last round.
Very, very good points indeed. We're going to wrap things up here, guys. As I say, next week, Tuesday, 9 PM, we'll be back with some more Gran Turismo Sport Club 100 racing action. Do tune in for that. We'll see you over on the Alpha Live channel on Sunday for sprints. And the next bit of iRacing action is in 4 weeks' time. On Wednesday evening, we'll be at Suzuka for the next round of the 2021 Legends of Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. But for now, thank you for watching. My name's been Andrew Mather. He's been Howard Mitchell. Together we've been Double Dash Motorsport Media. Thank you for your support. Do click that subscribe button, the notification bell, the like button, all of those things. We'll see you very, very soon for more racing here on DDMM.